Coming up on Tekzilla, Windows Phone 7's here. We got Sascha Segan's opinion on Microsoft's latest mobile effort. We're going to tell you how to get rid of your old electronics the right way, tips on listening to audiobooks on your Android, and of course a box full of your viewer questions. So heat up that coffee and dip that donut, because Tekzilla starts now. This episode of Tekzilla is made possible by the United States Air Force, Dine Inc., and GoToAssist Express. Support smarter with GoToAssist Express. I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Welcome to Tekzilla. Hands-on reviews of the latest tech and how to make the most out of the gear you've already got.
Whether you're a beginner, tech support for your friends and family, if you've got a question about tech or how much fun it is to ride a steam train, we've got an answer for you.
And if we don't, we'll track down someone who does.
Steam train, huh?
Okay, my son turned 3 this weekend.
Are you kidding me?
Seamus is 3.
3? Mm-hmm. Jeez, they get old so fast.
Yes, they do. And we took him like all the way across to Ely, Nevada. We chased, we were in the wilderness. We were running the Subaru on dirt. I got to give a quick shout out to the Nevada Northern Railway, basically to Ely, Nevada. Check out this picture. It's like the ultimate set of tools. These are the small tools for keeping a 100-year-old steam engine running. It was an incredible experience. And let me tell you something, coal, cinders. That's all I'm going to say.
A lot of it stuck in your nose, in your hair,
Not
all
so
over
much
you.
my nose, but the ones in the ears were funny, and like getting it out of my hair, you know, as much hair as I actually have, was kind of a trip. It was amazing though. Steam trains.
I love trains. Trains are one of my favorite things.
We got to hang out with engineers from the Union Pacific and Truckee, and we chased trains back across, because there's whole sections of 80 that are right next to the Union Pacific rails. So we were basically playing tag with trains all the way out and all the way back.
Yeah, when I drove cross country, we went through the desert, and when we were going all around the Southwest, every time I saw a train, I'd go, train!
Train!
Train! Probably much like Seamus would.
Very similar to it. Like, Dad, let's go see the train!
Well, speaking of birthdays, Super Mario Brothers and the Nintendo Entertainment System, also known as the NES, turned 25 this week. Shockingly, there is no Google Doodle to mark this epic event.
Just saying.
Man, Nintendo's 25, huh?
Yep.
We're old. Yes.
Yeah, one of us is older than the other.
Yes.
Because, you know, I was like driving when that came out.
Yeah, I remember when I got my first NES, I actually, it was Christmas, and I lifted it up over my head and went, I have the power! Like very, you know, He-Man style. I think I must have been about 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
Yeah, maybe it was an SNES, actually, now that I'm thinking about it.
Probably an SNES.
It may have been a SNES, but I did have the NES also.
But it still had that same horrible gamepad, which has gone on to define gamepads for generations.
I had over 50 games for the NES. And for you PS3 and Wii users out there, if you love watching movies, good news! You don't have to use a disc anymore to watch your Netflix as of this week. Both platforms are also getting a new interface, Netflix said on a blog post earlier this week. PS3 owners get a nifty bonus. Some movies and TV shows will be available in 1080p with Dolby 5.1 surround sound. The PS3 is the first platform to benefit from a Netflix partnership with Dolby on streaming surround sound, which is pretty awesome.
I'm hoping not the only platform to benefit, because I want my Netflix surround sound on every platform.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
That would be very awesome. More 1080p too, please. Hey, don't be surprised if your kids are freaking out about getting a Kinect for their Xbox 360. Microsoft is, brace yourselves, dropping $500 million on a marketing campaign, including, I guess it starts out, there's a big featured spot on Oprah, because I guess if Oprah gives it her blessing, then parents everywhere will basically start killing each other in Black Friday lines to get one. Partnerships with Burger King, Pepsi, and Kellogg were going to put the Kinect on their packaging, says Information Week. Is it me, or is this just over the top for a console accessory? Can you even talk about this? Josh writes in.
Could you guys explain and break down CDMA and GSM networks? And what exactly is all this talk I'm hearing about LTE? Late Technology Evolution is what it stands for, I think. I first started hearing it when the New York Times and Wall Street Journal made people all over the country pee their pants last week by saying that the iPhone was heading over to Verizon. Thanks, guys. Keep up the good work. Josh in Virginia Beach, Virginia. All right, first up, Josh. All the pants on the Tekzilla set are pee-free. Yes,
Yep.
relatively P-free.
P-free.
It's great that the iPhone is heading to Verizon, but nobody here peed their pants over that. Maybe just because we're locked down on AT&T until our contracts are up, or we eat that cancellation fee. But we are happy for you guys. Second, LTE stands for 3GPP, long-term evolution. To quote Wikipedia, latest standard in the mobile network technology tree that previously realized the GSM Edge and UMTS HSXPA network technologies. To avoid lots of jargon, let's just call LTE the next generation wireless data spec for Verizon and AT&T, even though a lot of folks consider it 3.9G. It's beyond G, but not quite 4G. LTE Advanced, which builds on LTE, will be the true 4G LTE.
And if that doesn't have your head spinning, what gets folks excited beyond being able to buy an iPhone without the anchor that is AT&T tied to it is that LTE promises peak rates of like 100 megabits per second and latency under 10 milliseconds in theoretical terms. LTE is also, according to Wikipedia, endorsed by public safety agencies in the U.S. as the preferred technology for the new 700 megahertz public safety radio band.
So that means it won't fry our brains quite as much.
No, it means that all the people who make sure fire trucks and police departments and the National Guard and the Coast Guard and
So not that kind of safety.
Yeah, public safety, like, oh my goodness, San Francisco is on fire. But
we are frying our brains.
Yes.
Basically. So we all love our cell phones, but frankly, kind of a problem. Finally, GSM and CDMA, which is shorthand for CDMA 1, which is the one you're thinking about, are competing standards for mobile telephony systems, Josh.
Yeah, we thought about using special puppets to demonstrate the technical details behind how GSM and CDMA make your phone ring and transmit your voice over the ether, but we kept falling asleep during rehearsals even after Roger lit the puppets on fire.
I really liked that puppet.
Yeah.
Oh well. It's probably more important to know that GSM, the global system for mobile communications, is the most popular mobile phone spec in the world and is used here in the US by AT&T and T-Mobile. CDMA 1, a code division multiple access cellular standard engineered by Qualcomm, is the spec used by Verizon and one of the specs used by Sprint and Nextel. So those new iPhones required some healthy re-engineering to jump to Verizon. And probably some healthy contract negotiations. Probably some very healthy contract negotiations.
What if we give you more money? Wait, we can't give you any more money.
They've had enough. Jeez, I mean, give people some slack.
I think every phone should be available on every platform. How's that?
Oh. What a wonderful...
What a wonderful fantasy.
Yeah.
Then we can all pay like $800 Nokia style to get our cool guy phones or cool
Hey, if it would work on every network and if I could travel the world with it, that would be great.
And hit every episode of every television and every movie available in 1080p instantaneously.
The future. Yes, coming up next, does Windows Phone 7 live up to the hype? Our fave phone reviewer, PCMag.com Sascha Segan weighs in when we come back. And a special thanks to one of the sponsors that made this episode of Tekzilla happen, the United States Air Force.
Sir, debris heading towards our comm satellite. Impact may cut off communications with ground forces.
Launch avoidance maneuver. 20 kilometers in closing.
Collision averted, sir. All objects are accounted for.
Good job.
Learn more at airforce.com.
The battle rage is on for your smartphone. Apple's iPhone looking a little elderly compared to Google's Android OS. RIM's BlackBerry more popular than most people realize. Now Microsoft is ready to rejoin the battle with a fresh mobile operating system for smartphones, Windows Phone 7 operating system. Here with the word on whether this is a great mobile OS or another 6.5 is lead analyst for PCMag.com Mobile, Sascha Segan. Welcome back, Sascha.
Thanks a lot.
Am I cruel to say that, I got to say, my least favorite smartphone experience ever was trying to run the Windows 6.5 version of the mobile operating system. 7 is a huge step up.
Well, first of all, you clearly haven't tried the latest version of Symbian yet, but overlooking that, yes. I mean, Windows Mobile 6 was great when it was Windows Mobile 2003. But basically its user interface and its user interface metaphors were frozen in about 2003. So Microsoft realized that we're in a new world now. We're in a touchscreen-oriented world. We're in a world, a finger-oriented world, and they completely rebooted. Windows Phone 7 looks a lot like a Zune. It doesn't look like Windows Mobile 6.5.
Which is a good thing. And it's kind of funny, right? One of the big things in Microsoft recently is we're going to break down walls. Zune has a great interface. Why are we developing? Basically, the idea that we're going to have unified interfaces across mobile devices and maybe make the Zune go away. I mean, is it more than just an interface? Have they made any changes deeper in the operating system? Is it a ground up new version of Windows Phone? Well, I guess Windows Phone is a new name. Is it a marketing campaign?
No, it's an absolute reboot. It's a new operating system. I mean, it is based on a Windows CE kernel, but everything above that layer is fresh. And one of the most exciting things here is they have brought together a lot of those disparate Microsoft properties that people have good feelings around but haven't been seen in one place. For instance, games are under the Xbox brand, and you can use your Xbox Live avatar, and you will be able to play games over Xbox Live, like simple casual games with other Xbox Live users. Music is under the Zune brand. It syncs with the Zune client. You use your Zune Pass. They have Microsoft Office. The web browser is called Internet Explorer. So they're finally bringing together all those Microsoft brands into one mobile product.
I'm kind of curious, right? You have the new tile-based user interface. It's more around data and not icons. Is the new version of Windows Mobile going to be, or is Windows Phone 7 going to be compatible with older mobile Windows applications, or are you going to require a new? Not that there were a lot of mobile applications, but are people going to be able to move their older applications to this new version of the mobile operating system?
Not really, no.
Okay.
This is a completely fresh break. This is a total new start for Windows. Their developers are going to have to develop new apps for this OS. That said, the development tools here are based on Silverlight and XNA. Silverlight is relatively easy to program in. It's essentially a web development language. And XNA, well, people who have been writing Xbox games are familiar with that. So it's a fresh operating system, but it's using development tools that a lot of people already know how to use.
Now, WindowsPhoneLive.com, I don't remember that from earlier version of Windows or Windows Mobile. Is that a new service that they're building in with Phone 7?
Well, Microsoft had something called My Phone with 6.5. It debuted maybe a year and a half ago, and that was kind of a primitive version of this WindowsPhoneLive.com because it helped you let you back up your Windows 6 phone onto a website and let you find your phone from a website. That said, the Windows Phone 7 version is a lot smoother, a lot higher tech, and it really syncs your phone with the web in a way that Windows 6 never really did.
This is a good thing. How do you feel about the overall performance of Windows Phone 7? I mean, it's similar to Android in the sense that you have multiple vendors that are going to be delivering phones. The interface seems to be a little more unified than the Android devices. I mean, how's the performance been?
Performance has been fine so far. One thing that is really going to irritate geeks is that Microsoft does love these sort of fancy animated transitions. And so, like, they'll never just change pages when they could do it with a flip, a twirl, and a fade. And that's not a problem in performance in that the flip, twirl, and fade are going as fast as Microsoft wants them to, but it may be slower than geeks want them to. But that said, performance seems to be fine. And given that Windows Phone 7 is not going to have third-party multitasking to start, and that Microsoft has been really, really tight with their hardware spec, they're not allowing OEMs a lot of latitude, I think we're going to be having a lot of phones that perform pretty well and perform pretty equally. That's
a good thing. How do you feel it compares to the iPhone, I should say iOS. It's iOS now, not iPhone, and Android.
Well, that's a tough situation. I mean, it's definitely much more like Apple than it is like Android. This is a uniform, controlled, curated experience with a lot of well-known branded experiences in it. It's not the sort of free-for-all and chaos and kind of liberal richness that is Android. Versus Apple, this is going to be that Microsoft versus Apple war again, where Apple has iTunes, Microsoft has Zune, Apple has Game Center, Microsoft has Xbox, Apple has something, Microsoft has an answer to that. Microsoft has something. Apple has an answer to that. It may largely come down to taste.
Do you think, I mean, you mentioned sort of iPhone versus Windows Phone 7. Do you think Steve's even going to acknowledge the new mobile platform from Windows, or is he too freaked out about the popularity of Android at this point?
Yeah, Steve's not going to acknowledge Microsoft yet, at least publicly. I'm sure he has an eye on it because he's not dumb, and it's Microsoft, you know, Apple's traditional cosmic nemesis. But he's right now much more worried about the fact that the Android army is marching across all of the world's wireless carriers and taking market share from the iPhone.
So I'm guessing from that statement that you're not really thinking iPhone, Android. But if somebody thinking about buying an iPhone or on an iPhone or an Android phone, probably is not going to be considering moving to Windows Phone 7. If you were finally moving up, if you've been holding off on upgrading to a smartphone, would you consider the Windows Phone 7 a strong competitor to iPhone or an Android-based phone at this point?
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of people on Windows-based PCs, one of the weak spots with the iPhone, especially as regards Windows-based PCs, is the iTunes PC application. A lot of people think that iTunes on a PC is a real dog. Well, you might like Zune better. If you like Zune better, or for that matter, if you have an Xbox and you ever play Xbox Live, well, those are two entry points to the Windows Phone 7 platform that may really appeal to you. Also, you get a situation where if your company has a Microsoft SharePoint server, and you have documents on that server, well then the Microsoft Windows Phone 7 Office experience is going to be really smooth for you. So there's a lot of little possible ins there to saying why Windows Phone 7 might be right for someone in particular.
Makes sense. Sascha, good insight as always. Ladies and gentlemen, you can find Sascha's reviews and mobile technology analysis, some of the best mobile phone reviews and service reviews out there at PCMag.com. Go check them out. Still to come, how to recycle that HDTV the right way, and we got some router suggestions for an Xbox Live user. But first, let's thank one of our sponsors. Dyn Inc., the world's fastest growing provider of managed DNS, is launching a new campaign, taking it to the streets, they say. Traveling from city to city to spread the word on why DNS is so important and how Dyn can help with services like Dynect SMB, an affordable Anycast DNS solution that provides multiple logins, API integration, and much more for the small and medium business or startup. Dynect SMB starts at just $30 a month, and if you're looking for faster DNS for your home, visit dyn.com/Envision3 for a special $10 off voucher on your first month of service and learn how to take it to the streets with Dyn.
Looks like it's time for another website we just can't get enough of. A website that we just can't stay away from because it's too useful, too funny, or just too darn irresistible. This week's pick, Scrabbly. I wasn't going to share this one with the world because I didn't want them to get the Hasbro ban hammer thrown at them, but once I started seeing it pop up on other websites around, I figured it was fair game. It's called Scrabbly, and it's basically a massively multiplayer online crossword game. The rules are pretty simple. You have your letters down on the bottom, and you can create words off the already massive collection on the board. Then keep going until you run out of lives, which happens when you swap tiles. Rack up as many points as you can, and eventually you may end up on the leaderboard. You can even see the words as they start popping up. So show off what a wordsmith you are and play against the rest of the world with Scrabbly. And don't blame me if it gets shut down. Thanks to Jeff K on Google Buzz for the suggestion.
Ed writes in, howdy Veronica and Patrick. My month and a day old Samsung flat screen did not like the electricity in my house and decided to blow up.
Oh,
ouch.
damn.
Since it is out of warranty, do you have a way that I can recycle or reuse it? Thanks for all the fish, Ed.
Oh, that sucks. That sucks real bad, doesn't it?
That's giant suckage.
Yeah.
I assume, but suck.
Yeah. Through the hoop. I assume you've already contacted Samsung and that repairing or refurbishing it would cost more than you're ready to pay.
Yeah.
If not, give them a call. 31 days just seems so young for a flat screen to go. It probably works better for something people break more often, like an iPod or notebook, but you might want to try selling the screen on eBay to someone else that can use it for parts to repair other monitors.
It's an outside shot, but it's a shot.
Yeah, a lot of people buy used electronics to use in fixing or repairing other parts. You know, they just like the scrap metal of it.
Get their scrap on.
Get their scrap on.
That said, beyond, say, letting your inner crafter loose by turning it horizontal, laying a sheet of Lexan on it, and turning it into a coffee table, there's not a lot that's reusable in terms of a big flat screen television, unless you're a serious collector of surface mount resistors and capacitors. and other resistors and capacitors inside of there. So if you've got ideas on how to sort of reuse a dead flat panel, Tekzilla crew, email them tekzilla@revision3.com. Like with all electronics though, just make sure it's properly recycled. If you can't figure out how to reuse it, make sure it's properly recycled and doesn't end up in a landfill. That's pretty easy here in the Bay Area. Both our local Goodwill donation sites and our local dump make it super easy to dispose of old or dead electronics, because basically Goodwill will take older stuff and resell it. If it's completely dead, Goodwill basically they take it to a company that I guess shreds it and then extracts the metals and components and stuff. If your local dump doesn't accept consumer electronics, check out electronicsrecycling.org, 1-800-recycling.com, and mygreenelectronics.org to find an electronics recycler near you. Please keep the dangerous electronics out of the earth.
Indeed.
Yeah.
All right, well, Miguel's next with his question. I'm in the market for a gigabit router such as the Netgear WNDR 3700, since my old router is far too slow. Do you have any better recommendations, or is this a good router? I play games via Xbox Live, stream Netflix, and download a lot, but I can't play on Xbox Live since my router boots me off all the time. Miguel, College Station, Texas.
Well, Netgear's WNDR 3700 is the router I plan on buying next, Miguel.
Sweet.
Yeah, it is a fantastic router. Great performance, and there's several folks that own them and have nothing but good news to report. That said, you know, okay, it's good, right? Because you currently have an 802.11g router, Miguel Road. This would be jumping to an 802.11n router. You might want to try changing the location of your current router or changing the Wi-Fi router channel to one that's less crowded in your neighborhood. I've been in buildings where almost every router was set to the same channel. Using a less crowded channel can make for better Wi-Fi performance. Try running a utility like Insider. It's INSSIDER Wi-Fi Stumbler. They can help you figure out what channels the router in your neighborhood are running on and try a different channel. And remember, with all due respect to 802.11n, hardwired gigabit Ethernet kicks its ass. Just hardwire it, dude. Hardwire your Xbox and never get kicked off again. A lone voice for the Mac Mini and audiobooks on Android coming up.
If you're an IT or software consultant, you're always looking for ways to be competitive. You need to grow your business, but can't be in two places at once. That's why I recommend remote support with the new GoToAssist Express. The faster you can connect to a customer, the faster you can move on to the next challenge. With GoToAssist Express, you will increase revenue by handling more support requests, reduce travel time and overhead costs, support clients even when they're not at their computer, and rise above the competition by providing faster, more professional service. And for fans of the show, Tekzilla viewers can try GoToAssist Express free for 30 days. That's right, 30 days to see how much you can get done with GoToAssist Express. Just visit gotoassist.com/Tekzilla. That's gotoassist.com/Tekzilla for a free trial. We got an email from Carl all the way from Stockholm. He writes, I have just switched from iPhone to Android, the Galaxy S. My problem is that, unlike on my iPhone, the Android music player does not register audiobooks.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. I have been looking around for a program and app solution that can manage my music and my audiobooks in separate libraries on both my phone and my computer, like iTunes does, and autosave bookmarks to let me remember the position in the audiobook. Let me sync transfer those bookmarks between my PC and my phone, and let me switch between music and audiobooks without problem. iTunes did this by itself. I'm looking for a replacement solution. I've already tried using Double Twist, but it only supports the music part of iTunes and not the audiobook part. Carl in Stockholm, Sweden. All right. So I can definitely help you with the Android part of the problem, surprisingly. Audible has recently released its Android app in beta, and it does a lot of the things you're looking for, including bookmarking with notes, it's got wireless downloading of books you've purchased, and more. Alas, though, it won't play your music library, so you have to keep on using the regular Android music app for that situation.
I mean, that seems reasonable. Perhaps not ideal, but at least he's got all of the features he needs to not be like, where did I stop listening to my audiobook? Fast forward, nope, fast forward, nope, fast forward.
Well, I always use bookmarking for when I'm traveling and I'm on an airplane, and I know that I'm going to fall asleep pretty quickly, so I just put a bookmark, and that way I can go back to that point when I'm ready to start listening for real again. I also checked out another app plug-in thing by Overdrive. Now, Overdrive is a company that does like software solutions for libraries a lot of the time, so you can rent audiobooks and rent other media for like 2 weeks, listen to it on your
distribution for your public or private library.
But it's kind of cool because you can download audiobooks and keep them for like 2 weeks or just long enough to listen to them, and then it kind of turns it off.
Can he actually,
for free though?
download that?
That's the thing. You can download all the software. They have desktop stuff that works with iTunes and Windows Media Player. So you need to be using one of those management tools, music management tools, for that to work. They have clients for iPhone, BlackBerry, and Android as well. So that way you can listen to that content on the go, and it'll do the like audiobook style stuff that you're looking for, I think. I'm not really entirely sure how it works. So I haven't tested it out yet, but if any Android audiobook fans out there have any suggestions for Carl, you should definitely send them in to Tekzilla at revision3.com. Obviously, we're not the biggest Android users out there.
I use an iPhone.
We both use iPhones, and I'm a huge audiobook listener, though, so I'd love to be able to find out what you guys do to keep track of all your audiobooks and also manage your media out there.
Please.
We do have a little bit of follow-up to my awesome spreadsheet of set-top boxes that I presented last week. Lucas had this to add. He says, as the Meat Space Collective dutifully crafts that Excel spreadsheet on set-top boxes, I think you ought to give the Mac Mini a little more love. At $699, I know Patrick felt it was a bit too pricey to recommend.
No Blu-ray.
But considering the expandability and versatility,
No Blu-ray.
it blows everything else away in the set-top box category.
Drank Steve's Kool-Aid.
Albeit the Mac Mini is truly an HTPC rather than a set-top box per se.
Agreed.
Consider the longevity of your purchase. How long before the features of the next generation TiVo or Popbox will make it a must-have? My 1.66 gigahertz Intel Core Duo Mac Mini with Snow Leopard continues to perform beautifully.
Because you're using it for DVDs, which are like 10 years ago.
Which I got refurbished from Apple in late 2006 for a mere $400.
Not bad.
I've spent as much on my Mac Mini as I would just on TiVo and the equivalent years of service, and it's given me oh so much Farfig Newton. As for the interface, my 2005 Belkin Media Pilot has withstood the test of time, but no one wants to be rocking the keyboard and mouse on the sofa. Sure, there are plenty of apps for that, but I prefer the tactile beauty of the original Apple remote coupled with the highly extensible Remote Buddy. The Mac Mini Media Center even far exceeds the potential of a set-top box with the integrated DVD drive. Just for starters, okay, it's not Blu-ray, he says, but try watching Star Wars Ewok Adventures on the Roku or Apple TV.
Why?
Let the man talk. The added benefit of an always-on HTPC also means a central backup server for all your other machines, FTP and web server, back to my Mac, iChat, Skype, and I'm sure Veronica can appreciate the value of the Creature Cam when you're on the road. The only feature I find myself wanting is a more sofa-friendly way to rent from the iTunes Store and Amazon. Note to Apple, I would happily pay you for the Apple TV interface, minus the added hardware. Aside from that, the Mac Mini is definitely the one box to rule them all. Best, Lucas in Chicago.
I'll give you bonus points for effort on this one, Lucas. You were very long-winded and detailed about why you like overpaying. I will say, it is beautiful hardware. I love the case on the Mac Mini. It is absolutely gorgeous. It is quiet. It is stylish. But I'd rather pay a few hundred less for a Windows 7-based home theater PC and get Blu-ray. And also, there's kind of a lot of things you think. If you are an Apple household, a lot of the additional server capabilities are things that are going to apply for an Apple household. If you're in a Windows household, you're better off with a Windows Media Center-based home theater PC. I want Blu-ray. I want Blu-ray. I want Windows Media Center. I want managed DVR capabilities built in. I don't want to be wrestling with Steve over the preferred interface, because even you were like, I want the Apple TV interface, which would be awesome. But he's never going to give it to you without paying the $100 for the hardware.
Yeah, but I do have to say, someone did add the Mac Mini to the set-top box list, which is great.
It is absolutely a viable alternative. I would rather go for a Windows Media Center-based home theater PC myself. I also want to say, I got to clarify something about TiVo. I am not anti-TiVo. TiVo's
someone wrote in saying we were anti-TiVo, and that's not true at all.
Most of the people, and this is what I have to say, most of the people who are emailing us are not looking to keep using cable or satellite. And if you are not using cable or satellite, the TiVo is not particularly applicable. If you want a better way to manage your cable TV, fire up the TiVo. I don't particularly want to pay a monthly fee or a gigantic lifetime fee for my hardware because I'm cheap, but it is definitely an absolutely fantastic alternative, especially to cable set-top boxes.
And if you haven't seen the set-top box list, definitely check it out. I was shocked to see.
It's getting larger.
It's actually not getting larger. It's getting a lot more detailed.
Okay,
But
well,
yeah, so yeah, larger in
denser.
that sense.
How's that?
denser.
Denser.
I thought there was a cap of 40 people that could edit a Google Sheet at one time, but I went on there today and it said there were 67 people viewing the document. So I guess it's not entirely true. So check it out, see what things pique your interest, and add to the list.
There are a lot of fascinating alternatives. Speaking of past episodes, Pedja writes in, a few episodes ago you had a question about BIOS password reset and removal. Several tools that might be useful, all are free. CMOS Password from CG Security, the creators of the awesome Testis PhotoRec tools, GPL multi-platform. BIOS by 11th Alliance, it's a DOS tool for blunt brute force approach. Quote, when you need a bigger hammer. Can be dangerous, used with caution. By the way, it could also be illegal if you use it on somebody else's computer without their permission. And the most user-friendly of them all, PC CMOS Cleaner. It is freeware, distributed as an ISO file. You burn it, you boot it, done. Provided that your BIOS is set to boot from CD. And that probably may not apply in corporate environments, probably does apply in home environments. If it is not, that might be the problem, for which Plop might be the solution. Plop is a boot manager that has built-in IDE, CD-ROM, USB drivers, so it can boot from them without the help or need of a BIOS. Plop can be used to boot from pretty much anywhere, anything. It is a great piece of software. There's helpful documentation on the site. Check it out. There are quite a few useful tools there for DOS and Linux, and all are free. Maybe you can make a system segment about it in the show. It's been a while, Pedja. It has been a while since we've done a system segment.
I want you to make me a litter box with a little kitty opening and a magnet removal tool from the side. Well, I guess that's not really system, is it?
It depends on what the magnet removes from the cat.
We should come in here on a Saturday and build that thing in the tool room.
Build your magnetized cat removal tool?
Yes. No, it's not a magnetized cat removal tool.
You went from litter box to cat to magnet.
Okay, so what I saw this thing on IKEA Hacks, and it was a bench that has a wooden front, and then you can actually remove, you attach it with magnets, and then, but on the side it's solid, so then you have to cut a little hole in for the kitties to get in, and that way when you want to clean the litter box, you remove
pull the magnetic
panel off, and then you can get in there and do the thing and then put it back up.
Hopefully the kitties will go through the hole in the side of it to get to the
Well, yeah, that's the point.
Right.
Yeah, because it would be.
We tried that with our cat, and our cat was like, "I ain't going in there. I don't know. I don't want to know what's in the box."
Good point.
Pedja, awesome information. And remember, everybody, don't crack other people's passwords without their permission. For everybody watching, we live on your questions, so email us, Tekzilla@revision3.com. Tech help, product reviews, how-tos. You ask us, we'll do it, but we need those emails. So don't be shy. Send them into Tekzilla@revision3.com. And remember, our holiday shopping guides are on their way.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Yeah, even better, send us in a video question. Think of all the fun you can have and the admiration of all your friends and family when they see your mug on our show. Just keep it to 15 seconds, upload it to YouTube, and send us a link in an email with video question in the subject line. And as always, you can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Tekzilla. Thank you guys so much for watching.
I'm Patrick Norton.
I'm Veronica Belmont.
Until next time, you've been watching Tekzilla. And migrate a lot.
3, 2. Can you go to 2? Thank you. 3. What, you think you're funny switching cameras? You think that's funny? I'm trying to say the end of this piece. Is that hilarious to you? Switching you think that's funny?
You can leave that one out. The bloopers.
You should. Can you say to the camera, if you putting that in the bloopers, I'm quitting. No, it's just say because it'll be funny because they got me saying that last time. Don't record me saying this. It's not funny if you get me telling him to do it.
No, it actually is funny. Veronica says, I have to tell you that I'm going to...
You're ruining the joke!
No, hold up. Oh.
You guys are so bad at jokes.
Do you hear the laughter on the other side of the control room wall? 3, 2. You're seething.
No, I'm just looking at Brett being so highly engaged in the production of this video show.
At least he's not
hand.
facing his ass towards us again.
Everyone here is so dedicated to the craft, creating
He's
high-quality
dedicated to craft.
internet
He's just
television.
crafting something unrelated to our show. How's your HD Fury, Brett?
It's totally, it's for your show. What are you talking about? It's entirely for your show.
I'm teasing you because, well...
You guys are bitter today and I don't want to deal with it.